President Trump's recent comments about Putin have me thinking, but I'm going to make this one really short. President Trump took to social media this week to really blast Vladimir Putin. And it got me thinking of the notion of constraints and Donald Trump's understanding or lack of understanding of what constraints are and what they do. And so that's what I want to share today. It's not the case, of course, that businesses operate with no constraints. There are certainly constraints. There's regulatory constraints. There's market-based constraints. There are, if it's a public company, of course, there's shareholder constraints. There are constraints. But the kind of constraints that are placed in government are very different. And in a place like America, where the government is constitutional, most in democracies, for instance, those are largely written in. They're also norm-based, etc. And I don't think Donald Trump ever really understood those. He certainly doesn't appreciate them. But something struck me as I was thinking about these recent comments. I think it's fashionable in the United States to say that Donald Trump really likes the strong man. He wants to have a rule of his own that is similar to what you might see in North Korea or Hungary with Viktor Orban, or with certainly with Putin in Russia. But because I don't think Donald Trump understands that those folks also have constraints. They're constraints that look different than the kind of constraints he faces here in the U.S., but they're constraints nonetheless. And with respect to Vladimir Putin, his constraints are his generals and the oligarchs in Russia who share this notion of having a more powerful Russia, unified Russia, or a Russia at least that includes all of Ukraine. And so the constraint for him, it could be violent. It could be a coup. It could be kicking him out of power, that is Putin, if he agrees to a ceasefire on any terms whatsoever. I don't know that that's the case, but I do sense that Donald Trump is not thinking about that he thinks that people in authoritarian regimes simply make decisions on their own with no concern for any exogenous constraints. But those constraints are very different than Donald Trump is facing here, the things that are frustrating him, but they're constraints nonetheless.